Hello students, I hope you are doing good. In today's class, we will start the chapter Matter in our Surroundings. I hope you are already familiar with the term matter. So what is matter? Matter is anything that has mass and that occupies space. Now on your screens, you can see a picture of a wall clock. Now we have wall clocks in most of our homes. So you have seen that this wall clock in your home, it occupies certain space on the wall and also it has a mass. So if you hold it, you can feel the weight of that wall clock. So definitely this wall clock is a matter. Why? Because it fits in the conditions for being matter, that is, it should have a mass and it should occupy space. So both these criterias are fulfilled by this clock. So this clock is a matter. Now along with this clock, if you look around yourself, the things that you see, for example, the TV, the sofa, the almirah, the bed, all these are matter because all of them, they occupies a certain amount of space and they all have a mass or a weight. So I hope you are already familiar with the term matter. Now there are certain things which are not matter. For example, the clock that you are seeing, the clock is matter. Why it is a matter we have already discussed. But the time which is shown by the clock is not a matter. Think for yourself, is time a matter? Does time occupy space? Does it have any mass? Can you feel the mass of time? So time is not a matter because it does not occupy space and it does not have any mass. Now let us take one more example. We all have friends and all our friends are matters. So they all have mass. That means our friends can be fat or they can be thin. They all occupy space. They can be tall, they can be short, but they all occupy space. So that means our friends are all matters just like us. But is friendship a matter? No, because friendship is just an emotion. It does not have any kind of mass and it does not occupy any space or has any volume. So friendship is not a matter. So like friendship, other emotions like fear, sadness, happiness, love, hatred, these are all emotions and they are not matter. Other than them, sensations like sweetness, bitterness, these are all non-matter. So anything which does not have mass or does not occupy any space or has any volume, it is termed as a non-matter. Now, matter can be divided into three states: solid, liquid and gas. Here I am representing the solid state by a block of wood. The other things present around you like your TV, your fridge, the table and the chair, etc., these all fall in the category of being solids. Here the glass shown is also a solid, but the liquid, that means the milk present inside this glass, is a liquid. Other than milk, water, oil, blood, they are all liquids. Now solids and liquids, we can observe them, we can see them, so we can say that these are matter because they all have some mass and they occupy some space. That means they have certain amount of volume. But what about gases? We cannot see gases. Then how can we say that gases are matter? So let us try to understand how gases are matter. All of you must have seen balloons. Many of you must have blown them also. So how a balloon gets inflated? Initially the balloon looks like as that of in the first picture. As we blow air into the balloon, slowly it becomes larger in size. So why it becomes larger in size? Because the air that you blow inside it, which is basically a mixture of gases, these gases, they go and occupy the space inside these balloons. So that means from this observation we can say that gases, they occupy space, because in this inflated balloon, that means in the last picture, this inflated balloon, the apparently hollow inside of the balloon is containing air into it, which is a mixture of gases. So gas molecules can be concluded to occupy space by this observation. If we try to compare the mass of a deflated balloon and the inflated balloon, then we will see that the mass of the inflated balloon is greater than that of the deflated one. From the figure you can see that we have taken a balloon. In the first case we have taken the deflated balloon, and in the second case we have taken an inflated balloon. So when we compare the mass of the two, we see that the deflated balloon has a greater mass. So where this extra mass of the balloon is coming from? So as we have already discussed that this balloon was blown with air in order to inflate it. So this extra weight of the balloon is coming from the mass of the gas present inside the balloon. So we can conclude gases have mass. I hope by now the concept of matter is clear to you. Now we shall discuss what is matter made up of. Matter is made up of many tiny particles. That means many tiny particles, they come together to form matter. The particles of matter are very small. They are small beyond our imagination. So you cannot imagine how small the particles of matter are. But these particles of matter have certain characteristics associated with them. Now we shall discuss the characteristics of matter one by one. The first characteristic is particles of matter have space between them. Number 2, particles of matter are continuously moving. Number 3, particles of matter attract each other. Now we shall discuss each one of these characteristics one by one. So let us try to understand the first characteristic of particles of matter with an example. So if you take a glass of water and add a spoon of salt into it as shown in the picture and stir the solution, after some time you will see that the salt disappears. That means it gets evenly distributed in the water. This happens because the particles of salt get into the spaces between the particles of water. So this shows that there is enough space between particles of. Now the second characteristic is that particles of matter are continuously moving. So let us try to understand this with another example. Now if you take a glass of water and add a drop of ink to it as it is shown in the picture, then and leave the solution undisturbed, then you will see that the particles of ink gets distributed slowly, and after some few hours you will see that the ink has evenly distributed itself into the glass of water. So this happens because the particles of ink and the particles of water are continuously moving. So because of their motion, they mix together on their own. Now, because the particles of matter are continuously moving, so they possess kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is defined as the energy possessed by a substance by virtue of its motion. Now, as the temperature rises, the particles have more of kinetic energy. So that means we can say that as the temperature increases, the particles of matter moves faster. Now let us come to our third characteristic. Let us try to understand this with two examples. In the first case, if you try to break these stones, will they break on their own? No, right? You have to use a hammer for that and also give a good amount of force in order to break them. So why this happens? Again, have you ever tried to cut water surface with your hands? What do you observe? As soon as you remove your hand, the water surface again comes together. So these two observations, they suggest that the particles of matter have force acting between them, and this force is an attractive force. That means the particles of matter have attractive force between them. So they attract each other and hence resist any change in their shape, their breaking or cutting. So this force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another. That means the force of attraction is different in case of solids, liquids and gases. So I hope the characteristics of particles of matter is clear to you. In the next class, we will compare the particles of solids, liquids and gases on the basis of these three characteristics. So that's all for today. Thank you and take care.